guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see, is new mold day. So this is the new version of the Screenshot Shad. I've been calling it V2 just because it's easy. Version 2, we got this thing in from CCO Custom Baits today, and I am excited to take a look at it. So I have an unboxing clip for you here in just a minute, and I went ahead and got my slow-mo and all that before I got my fingerprints all over it. But yeah, I am excited to check this thing out. We're gonna shoot some laminates in it, as well as check out some new product from 8-Bit Baits. This is the new Siren Scales, and we have a lot of them to check out here. And I am excited to dig into that, make some cool spicy laminates, and see what we can come up with. So roll the unboxing and let's make some baits. We're gonna do an unboxing on these molds. I figured I would save it for you guys. So let's cut the sides of this thing open. Okay, and then get the front. Oh, there we go. And then I think there is a tiny seam right there. All right, let's see what we got here. Nice green inside of this package. Got some packing material. This is the tail mold that we'll be checking out probably in a separate video, but I may go ahead and show it. We have some awesome decals here and a cool little handwritten note from Colton. So that is awesome, and I will read that here shortly. And then this is the mold that we have been waiting on. This is V2 of the Screenshot Shad. And let's see what we got. Cut that open, open it up. Machining looks pretty dang good on this, I would say so. And yeah, we have our individual ports here so that we can do our laminates now. And let's crack this thing open and take a look. I actually made the body smooth. This is one of the changes that we made. I think it looks a little bit nicer smooth, but we're just gonna have to check it out after we shoot it. And as you can see, it's got a lot bigger eye socket, and I think it's going to be pretty freaking sweet. So stay tuned for that. And I'll go ahead and crack this other mold open for you while we're just chilling here doing some unboxing. See if I can get into this one. Sometimes it's pretty hard to find that tape on the bubble wrap. It is just too dang clear. All right. We kind of beavered our way into that, but we're in there, so that's all that matters. And then we'll open this up. And what a cute little mold this is. And let's check out the tail mold. And we can shoot some tails now. If we want to do some different color tails along with our Screenshot Shad, we can absolutely do that. And that is going to be really awesome. So there we go. That is our molds, and we will do some close-ups and some injections, just like we always do. Let's take a look at some of the new Siren Scales from 8-Bit Baits. You can tell we have all kinds of color options here. We've got some pinks, some oranges, some yellows, a little bit of purple in this one even. We got some greens. We got the notorious motor oil color, which I'm very excited about. Just look how good this color looks in the jar. The possibilities for this are dang near endless. This is a great color and probably my favorite out of the batch, although I do kind of fancy me a little bit of Morning Dawn here. This is a great looking color as well, and I am excited to try these out. And we are going to pair up one of these, or maybe two of these today, with some Hollow Shift powder, which is another line from 8-Bit Baits, and see if we can't make us some really nice looking laminates for our Screenshot Shad. We're gonna do a couple of trios here. So the first one we're gonna be doing is Anoxia with Heat Wave and Motor Oil. You can see how those colors go together pretty well. I don't think I have to explain that one too much. And then we're also gonna do Borealis with Sub-Zero and Reptile. So we have the Northern Lights looking color, which I think is gonna look good with a little bit of blue and some green. And then we're going to laminate both of these over a pearl white with a little bit of silver flakes. So let's get into that. So let's start on this first color build. We have us a cup of plastic here, and I'm going to do about 3 drops of Bait Plastics Black, and then we're gonna mix that up. Get our base color all lined up real quick. And it looks pretty dark in the cup, but don't worry. When you put black in a cup like this, it always looks dark. and then you run it off the knife and it's like almost clear. But it gives that 8-bit a nice background to kind of adhere to, and gives it some contrast. So let's put some of the hollow shift powder. Again, this is Anoxia. Put some of this in here. What a awesome color that is. So I'm going to use this little stick here, and we're going to scrape some off in here. And we're going to be pretty generous this time because I want this to look awesome. That's the good part about this. You can use as much as you want. Put some of this over that and give it a stir. Watch the background come alive. Okay, there is the 8-bit doing its job. Looks awesome. Now we're going to put some of the heat wave and the motor oil in here. I'm actually going to put the motor oil in first and see how I feel about it, and then we'll decide on the heat wave. But look at that. That is crazy. Crazy colors. See if we can't drag some of this out into here. Like that. Try not to make a huge mess here. Pour that over. Keep it from getting airborne a little easier. And we're just going to stir it as it breaks some of that up. We may have to add a little bit more, but I don't want to get too crazy with it yet until we put the other one in. And this is going to be heat wave. Pop the lid off of this, and I'll show it to you. Oh, that is so awesome. And now, scrape some of this off in here. And this is probably more ideal for like skim pouring, but either way, it looks really good in a plastic like this. But it does go a lot farther when you're skim pouring it, so that is what I would recommend doing with that. But if you do pours like this, you can also have a lot of fun with it. I like that. I was gonna put some red in here, but I don't feel like that matches very well. So what I'm actually gonna do is put a little bit of silver in here. This is 0.015 from Baked Plastics. I'm gonna sprinkle some of this in. Just a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy with it. Give it a mix. That looks pretty good. Let me show this to you where you can see it a little bit better, but I think that's gonna make an awesome laminate, and that is gonna be the first color that we're working with. Now we're gonna build this second color. I'm gonna start with Baked Plastics Black once again, except I'm gonna go a little heavier. I'm gonna go 6 drops, and we're gonna mix that in. Get that nice and dark. Okay, now I've got to clean off my spoon here, and we're gonna go straight for the Borealis. This is the hollow shift powder from 8-Bit Baits. And as you can see, got some awesome colors in that. And we are going to be generous with this too. Put some in there, make it look nice and pretty. Give it a stir. And see if we can't get that color to come out. It's looking pretty good. That is a very nice color. Now you can kind of see maybe my thought process behind doing some of this, but we're going to start with the blue. This is Sub-Zero. We're going to start with that and see. Wow, that is quite bright in the hand. We're going to drag some of this off down in here. That looks good. I like that a lot. Let's mix this in. I feel like that's really fine too. It may just be my jar, but it seems fine. And I am good with that because that's going to work even better for what I want. Try not to inhale that if you can help it. Stuff gets airborne really easy. I'm going to mix this in. It's looking pretty good. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this reptile. Open this up. And that right there is looking pretty good too. We'll drag this off in here. See if we can get us some bigger flakes. Make us a nice Northern Lights effect. I may actually use some of this This is .015 chartreuse. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of this in here. Not a lot, just a little bit. Mix that in, and it'll give us some contrast versus what we were doing before. Oh, that is sweet. Let's check this out up close. That is going to be a nice color to laminate, and I am excited to see what that looks like. Here is the pearl white, nothing crazy, just a standard pearl white. I'm using a Lureworks pigment, the pearlized pigment to make this. But yeah, just a standard pearl white is going to look pretty good next to that. Here is a look at these outside of the mold, and it is so satisfying to see these baits in a laminate. I have thought about this for so long and kind of been thinking about what I wanted to do with it, and these are perfect. They are exactly what I hoped they would be, and they are just so freaking cool, man. What an awesome bait. And you're probably wondering about the eye. Do you really need an eye for a strolling bait, which is what I typically use this for? And the answer is no. And if you don't want to put the eye on it, you absolutely don't have to. But one thing that I do like about the eye is if you're going to rig this thing on a hover rig, so where you don't have an eye on the actual hook head, that is one thing that you can absolutely do. And then you have that eye, which is just going to give it a little bit more detail. And then if you're also going to put them on the back of a chatterbait, obviously you don't need an eye. You could put one on it if you wanted to. But I just wanted to have the option to have a big eye, because that's how I always imagined this bait when I was designing it to begin with. Here's a look at the Northern Lights ones, and I just kind of got the shop light up here where you can see them a little bit better. It's dark outside, or I would take them outside, but yeah, they show up pretty nice under the shop light, and I like that pearl white too. I think it's going to be good. And the good part about this is because we only use that black pigment in the powders and the Siren Scales, we don't have to worry about any kind of bleeding happening, and they should stay just like this for as long as we keep them. Here's a look at the darker top color on the other color that we did. This is a little bit more black. This is about 6 or 7 drops versus 3. And I'll show you the lighter ones as well. And I got some black eyes on there right now. But that is just going to be another great color combo. I have some juggle minnows that are very similar color to this. And I actually have pretty good success on them. And here is the lighter version of that color, which I like equally as much. I didn't think I would, but I do like it just as much, I would say. And these are going to be a nice clear water color. You get into a situation where maybe you don't want something quite as loud. Maybe you need something a little bit more translucent. This would be a good color option there. And I have black eyes on them as well, just to match them up with the other ones. But they are pretty freaking sick, if I do say so myself. Let's go over the changes from V1 to V2. We obviously made the body smooth, and that is one thing that I wanted to do. It wasn't a big deal, whether it was textured or smooth, but I do like the smoother version better. I think it looks a lot nicer, looks a lot cleaner, and that is one thing I'm pretty happy with. We also made the eye socket bigger. The other one just kind of had a fabricated eye kind of built into the mold, but I wanted an actual eye socket, so I had the option to do hover hooks, and we have another option to not put eyes on it and use it as a chatterbait trailer, or even just don't put eyes on it and stroll with it. It doesn't really matter, but I did want the option to be able to do some different things with it, and that's kind of my reasoning behind making those changes. But yeah, I think it is an exceptional little bait. So for the most part, I'm gonna throw this bait on a ball head jig, but I did want to design it with the option to be able to use it on a hover rig like this. And I showed the ball head jig in the last screenshot video. So I wanted to show you guys the hover rig. And as you can see, most of that hook is internally inside that bait, and we have a 90-degree line tie. And on top of that, this has kind of a spiral when it falls, and it's weedless, so I can throw this in some situations that I typically wouldn't want to throw this bait in just because it's weedless, and I can avoid some of those hang-ups that are you know, always bound to attract a lot of fish. So this is kind of an idea that I was playing with, and we'll just have to test it more. It's hard to get a true test on this in a little 20-gallon tank like this. You kind of need to be retrieving it, and with the weather being the way it is, I'm just trying to catch a break in the rain. But yeah, this is a good way to show you guys what this rig looks like all rigged up. Here is a last look at these baits before I wrap this up and start doing some color testing and some other things that I have planned. But yeah, I am extremely happy with how this mold turned out. CCO Custom Baits did an exceptional job in the manufacturing of this mold and getting it all cut for me. And they helped me with the design process and all that, so it was super awesome. And I am excited to have a V2 version of this, and it's going to be a staple here at the shop. And I can't wait to go out and do some strolling and even make some chatterbait trailers with this. It's going to be a great option for both of those. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed V2 of the Screenshot Shad. It's an incredible little bait, and I am so proud to see how far this bait has came since the day that I designed it, and finally getting it here today. It's just so satisfying because this is what I imagined the bait being like all along. And now that we've finally got the version 2 of this mold, it's kind of like getting to see it come to reality. And it just puts a smile on my face getting to shoot these. I think the future is very bright for the Screenshot Shad. But speaking of the future, I do want to quiz you guys out a little bit. I want to see if there is any interest in the option to buy this mold. So I may end up bringing this mold out to the public where you have the ability to purchase it through my website and then get it shipped to you. But I just kind of need to have a gauge on how many people might be interested in this. Maybe nobody's interested in it. Maybe it's just me. But I've had a couple people ask me about it. So if you do have some interest in being able to purchase this mold, leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Shoot me a message if you have me on one of the socials. But I would love to know if there's any interest in being able to buy this mold as an option. And you will have the full rights to sell the baits out of it. I don't have any kind of anything against that, but I want to be able to bring it out if it's something that interests you. I don't know what the pricing on that's going to look like yet. That is still something I'm talking about with the mold manufacturer, and we're going to have to work that out. And we have to be able to financially make it feasible, but at the same time, I want to be able to offer it to you guys at a price that makes it affordable. As affordable as it can be. Everyone knows aluminum molds are pretty pricey, but we'll just have to see what we can do pricing wise and if there is enough interest to make it worth doing. The good part is all the designing is done now, so it's kind of just a copy paste cut for the most part. I know that's a very simplified way of saying that for CNC work, but in reality we'll just be making duplicates of this mold, and that'll help us get the price down too. So let me know if this is a mold that you'd like to have the option to purchase. I'm getting this mold a little bit early, so I'm going to have some time to go out and test it. And with that being said, if everything tests out fine, I'm going to plan on dropping this video on a Saturday. And if that's the case, I should have plenty of time to build up some inventory to have some different color options available on the website. And if you don't know how to access that, it's down in the description below. I'll have a link to my website, and this is called the Screenshot Shed. I'll probably take all the V1s off and just leave the V2s on. And if you don't know, when you purchase from the website, you almost always get some free stuff. It just depends on what I have and what I have extra of, but I try to throw in some free stuff in every order, just kind of as a thank you for supporting the YouTube channel and the business. And every dollar you spend on the website goes back into this, so I can keep making these videos for you guys. And if you want to pick up some of the new Siren Scales or any of the 8-bit products, I'll leave a link in the description below to 8-bit baits as well. They have an awesome hollow shift line. The rupees are great. The Siren Scales are great. This new set of Siren Scales has some really awesome colors in it. And you can see that we use them today and they look great. So pleased with everything I got from them, and definitely check them out. I'll also try to leave some kind of way to contact CCO Custom Baits. I kind of talk to him through Facebook, but I know there's multiple ways to talk to him if you have a design project of your own. I am pleased with the process so far, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. But stick around, like and subscribe. It helps the channel out tremendously, and I will catch you guys in the next video.